I asked what lessons took the longest and were the hardest to learn about having chronic fatigue syndrome. Because there were a couple things I've been dealing with that I realized took me so long to get through my thick skull. And honestly, if I had been told some of these things as a newbie, it would have saved me so much time, hassle, struggle, and I probably wouldn't have gotten this bad. Like, let's be honest, I wouldn't have gotten this bad. And so this video is a compilation of all the hard-earned truths that us longtime veteran chronic fatigue syndrome people are sharing so you don't have to learn the hard way like we did. Hey everyone, Editing Rachel here from the future. There was some sort of glitches, so needless to say, my first question magically disappeared. So I'm gonna have to restate it here. So the first thing that I noticed that took me a long time to figure out was that it can take literally up to 2 days for flare-up symptoms to start. 2 days. It means you don't have a flare-up symptom, you don't start feeling the effects of overdoing it until 48 hours later. Until then, you can keep overdoing it and make it so much worse. Yay! So yeah, not good. Alright, editing Rachel out. Hopefully that was the only glitch. Subscribe. So frustrating! Like seriously, so frustrating. And the second thing I learned was that not only does it take 2 days for things to show up, but it doesn't have to be just physical things that cause flare-ups. Strong emotions will cause flares. Yay! So if you suffer from anxiety, stress, PTSD, any of that, it's even harder to get over your chronic fatigue syndrome.
Keep calm, keep calm.
The third thing, food. Food you are sensitive to, not allergic to, just sensitive to, can cause flare-ups.
How could something that tastes so good make me feel so bad?
But just a little bit sensitive can put you down. And the worse you get, the worse your sensitivities get. Just FYI, I am allergic to way more foods than I was when this all first started, over a decade ago. That was actually one of the first signs that I had, was I started becoming allergic to a ton of stuff. And I think gluten was one of the first things. And then it just kept adding and adding and adding and adding. Now this fourth secret took me by surprise, I'll be honest. There was a point where I'm like, okay, I kept pushing, getting worse. So then I decided to do the opposite, as we all do. And I did nothing but rest. Guess what? You can get worse from doing too little. There's no winning. Yeah, it seems like our muscles waste extra fast compared to normal people. So whereas normal people, their muscle would waste slowly over time, ours kind of goes pretty fast. And then we're not able to rebuild it because we have a hard time building muscle. And it's just this awful chain reaction. So you got to find that middle area, which is really, 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 really tricky.
Sorry, but it's true.
So the fifth thing's a little hard to say, but I'm pretty sure everybody with severe chronic fatigue will vouch for this. The people you think are closest to you will leave. And other people that you don't consider super close will stick around and will be there for you and help you. And it's really surprising who sticks around. And it's really surprising some of the people you thought would be there no matter what disappear almost instantly. It's very off-putting and very depressing at first. But I'm going to do a video kind of explaining why this happens. It's not what you think.
We can't wait to see it, sweetie.
Now the sixth one I'm sure you've heard as a joke quite often, but it's true. The weather can cause pain and flare-ups. Changes in the weather, changes in the barometric pressure, if it's going to rain, all that fun stuff. Yep, it's true. Now the seventh hardest thing to learn about chronic fatigue syndrome is one of the most frustrating, and that is that every single crash decreases your baseline. And that is why you'll find many, many, many people with chronic fatigue syndrome used to be athletes. We're used to hitting that wall and breaking through it and getting stronger. Ha ha ha, not with chronic fatigue. Nope, those rules out the window, 100% different. But we were so used to it that we just kept hitting that wall. Our starts further back, hitting the walls, further back, hitting the wall, further back.
A wall!
Until we're some of the worst people with the worst symptoms now. is because we just couldn't get it through our thick skulls that you just gotta stop hitting the wall.
A wall!
But then again, like I said, also, not doing anything makes you waste also, and that's also bad for you. So it's really this really fine tightrope you gotta walk, and you gotta figure out where it is, and it's so tricky. This is not a fun illness to have.
Doesn't sound fun at all.
By the way, if you have any really hard-earned chronic fatigue syndrome facts, secrets that you learned over the years, make sure you drop them in the comments below. It'll probably help someone else, and then we can also be like, hey, yeah, I got that too. Like, it's just fun for the community sometimes to know we're not alone in what we deal with. So the 8th hard lesson to learn about chronic fatigue syndrome from your longtime chronic fatigue people is that you can be getting worse and not necessarily feel it.
Wait, what?
Now this is really dangerous because you can be doing something that's causing a flare and not notice it's causing a flare right away. If you've ever had one of those days where like you're just trucking along and all of a sudden you feel that doom feeling, that's what this is. I didn't really notice this until I started heart rate monitoring. I was shocked. I'm sitting there doing something that I don't really think takes energy, and all of a sudden my watch is going off saying my heart rate's like 110. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I better stop, put my feet up above heart level, relax, let it go down. Because the longer that heart rate's up there, the more likely you are to flare. And so by heart rate monitoring and pacing, I've actually been able to control my flare-ups a lot more, whereas before I just kept going downhill faster and faster and faster, and I couldn't figure out what was going on.
That sounds so familiar.
Number 9's gonna get a lot of people mad at me, but we all learned it the hard way. I'm not the only one saying this, but newbies are gonna get mad, and I'm sorry, but there is no miracle cure. You can make it a little better by giving your body what it needs. You can go into remission and learn to control everything, control your pacing, control your body so that you manage it, but you will not cure it. I'm sorry, it's true. At this moment in time, there is no known cure for chronic fatigue syndrome. If you do not go into remission within the first 2 years of having had symptoms, the likelihood of you going into remission is almost zero. You can learn to manage it. You can learn to live with it and still have a life if you are catching things early enough. Otherwise, if you're really late to the game like me and we're stubborn, you get to go through a whole lot of hell just trying to figure out how to survive. But even then, there's always hope.
After all, there's always hope. Really? No, don't get your hopes up.
There is always hope, and I haven't lost hope. I get really depressed a lot, and I get frustrated a lot, and I just want to vent and whine and cry about it a lot. But I still have hope, and I'm always going to try and get better, and I'm always going to try and, manage it. But there is no cure. So the 10th hard-earned secret, some of you may have suspected, and that is that doctors really don't care about curing you. Your doctor doesn't have time, doesn't have the energy. You are just a number. I've worked in the hospitals. It's sad, but it's true. You're just a number. They have too many. They can't be like House and Grey's Anatomy where they spend all this time and energy trying to find a cure for you. They're going to go through the motions. They're going to go through the checklist. Now, it's not that they don't care on purpose. It's not that they're being mean. It's literally they don't have the time, and they're really restricted by things like insurance and their hospital policy from even trying to do these things. Most doctors that do go above and beyond end up having to open their own clinical practice, which are really hard to find because they get so full up that you can only get into them by referral. And even then, it's pretty hard sometimes. I went to a couple of those.
Homer, here's your bill for $4,000.
The 11th hard chronic fatigue fact to learn. And this one was a little surprising to me when I heard it. And it was that it's not normal to be in literally any amount of pain at all times. It's normal to be in pain sometimes, here and there. But if you're in even a low amount of pain, literally all of the time, that's not normal. Apparently that's not normal. That's part of probably fibromyalgia or something stemming from the chronic fatigue syndrome. So if you are always constantly in some amount of pain, some amount of dull pain here, there, whatever, that's not normal. You do have to mention that to your doctor and just tell your doctor, I didn't realize this wasn't normal till someone said that. So that gives them another clue kind of to start looking into, and it gives you another clue of what to start looking into to figure out how to manage everything. So now the 12th hard-earned fact for chronic fatigue syndrome is that not everyone giving you recovery advice is doing it to help you. There are a lot of friends that will say it to get you to be quiet. There are a lot of snake oil salesmen. There are a lot of MLM distributors that do it to make a quick buck off you because they know you're desperate. Most people aren't giving you the unwanted medical advice to actually help you. Now, some are, and they're still annoying, but they're honestly few and far between. You can kind of tell them because they're the ones that found the advice based off of research versus the people that are like, just try yoga. Oh my God, you have to try my essential oil. Oh my God, just positive thinking is all you need. It cured my friend. You'll notice a lot of the people on TikTok are spouting little cures here and there, and they all magically have books and programs and everything for sale. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. And before any of you try and say the same thing about me, I get nothing out of my YouTube. I'm nowhere near monetization. I put out merch if people want it, and nobody wants it, so it's just me. I like it. I'm not charging for anything, and I'm not intending to. I don't even know if I ever do get to monetization, if I will put ads on here. I don't know if I will. It'd be nice to have some extra income considering I'm on disability, but at the same time, if it stops someone from watching the video and there's a part that would help them, I don't know if that's worth it to me. You guys will have to let me know what you think on that. But anyways, if you want to support me, it's free to hit the like button, free to hit subscribe, and sharing that is super nice of you. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. If you want to see more like this, why don't you check out one of these videos? I bet you'll like them. Thanks so much for giving me the watch time and watching this whole thing through. Super duper helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. Keep on surviving.